Hi everyone, I'm back for another episode of the Happy Hustle Show. Excitingly, this is episode 99. So I feel like I have to do something special on Thursday for the 100th episode, but I don't know what that is yet, but I'll have a think. Tonight, I want to talk about handling the conversations with your day job about your happy side hustle. So one of the things that becomes a bit of a block for people is that, well, I don't want to tell my employer about my side hustle. And there's can be a whole load of reasons for that. I think one of the reasons for me, so when I don't, so I have got a day job and side hustles, but even in my day job, I am freelance. Although I work for some corporate companies, but I am freelance, so I don't have anything where there's any sort of permission that needs to be requested for my side hustles, which is liberating. I will admit that. But when I started my first proper side hustle, I was working in banking, and I had to seek permission to set up a side hustle in the first place. Now, that can be daunting for a couple of reasons because, first of all, you probably haven't stepped into the identity of having a side hustle when you're going to have that conversation with your HR department or wherever that conversation is appropriately going to happen in your work. And it feels like a really big deal to go, well, I am now a jewelry maker. So in fact, when I had the first conversation for the first time, it was when I was making the garden plaques, the engraved garden plaques. And I had to go to the HR department in my workplace at the time and explain to them that I was making garden plaques. And I could see, and I hadn't quite got the elevator pitch right. You see that I still probably haven't for that one because I sort of moved on before I understood a lot more about business. But anyway, so it was quite I don't know, it felt like quite a brave conversation to have because you're stepping into a new identity. You're stepping into the identity of a small business owner alongside someone who has a day job. So sometimes that can just feel a little bit intimidating, and it's maybe easier to go, well, I'll just wait until I've been doing this for, a certain amount of time and then I'll tell them because what? If that is you, so when I'm thinking back, I probably had it going for about maybe just 2 or 3 weeks before I went to speak to the HR department. And that was because I didn't want to I didn't want to get caught. I didn't want to be doing anything wrong. What I had done and what you should do is if you have an employee handbook, you should check the policies, check what your employer says about having a side hustle. But even if you're working for a small company and there's nothing officially written down, most companies will approach it in the same way. Are you setting up a side hustle that is going to impact your day job? So if you if you set up a side hustle and then you're no longer available to do overtime, or your work suffers, or whatever, it has a negative impact on your day job, then your employer isn't going to be happy, and rightly so. If you are setting up a side hustle that's any sort of competition to your day job, so there might be non-compete contracts um, within the kind of the employee handbook. So, for example, if you are I don't know, say you're a investment banker and you're going to do some investments at night as well, but you're going to be taking kind of your daytime knowledge. That might be an issue, especially if you're going to be working with clients that aren't coming through your business. Sorry, the your employer's business. But if you work in an investment bank and you are going to do a dog walking service, unless it's going to impact your day job or your work, it is unlikely that your employer is going to be cross about that. But it's really worth the conversation. And what I have found from having quite a few conversations recently is that people can be reluctant to have that conversation, because when you have that conversation, it makes it real, right? So when you're starting a side hustle, it's not how I recommend to do it, but a lot of people start a side hustle to just give it a go and just see how it goes and see if they sell anything. I don't recommend you do that. I recommend you make a decision and you decide that you're going to make it happen. And therefore, it becomes non negotiable. So, things like registering for tax, a lot of people want to put that off because they want to check it works first. A different mindset is to get everything registered right at the beginning because you're going to make it work. And who's the only person that's going to make it not work? You. Who's the only person that's going to make it work? You. So you just make that decision that you're actually going to make a success of it, and then you get everything in order. So if you haven't already had that conversation with your employer, I highly recommend that you do. If you don't have that conversation, and there might be circumstances where that's not possible, but if you don't have that conversation, you end up keeping yourself small. So when you're looking at your profile on LinkedIn, for example, if you use your LinkedIn profile for your day job, it can feel daunting to switch that across or to mention anything about your side hustle. But in order to expand and become visible, that's a very useful thing to do. So there's some balanced decisions here. You don't want to upset anybody in your day job. And if it's really important that LinkedIn reflects your day job, maybe you stay away from LinkedIn for that reason. However, you can't make that lack of visibility across all the marketing outlets because your side hustle, if you're not visible, your side hustle is very unlikely to be successful. So you have to be visible. You have to be prepared for strangers to find out what you're doing. And if then that becomes a problem for work, or you get caught, a very emotive word there, with a side hustle that you haven't declared, it's likely to just make your energy around your side hustle just all a bit ick. So if you are, for example, if you're nominated for an award, I'm so excited. I've been nominated for an award. I've made the shortlist for an award that's going to be taking place at the beginning of March. If I was employed and I hadn't told my employer about that, then I would be worried about being nominated for that award because what if they saw it? There's going to be some publicity around it. Like, what if my employer saw that? So you don't want to be in a position where you're keeping yourself small just because you're worried about what your employer says. Now, I absolutely appreciate that some of you might be in a situation where it's not possible for you to publicize your side hustle, in which case you maybe just need to wait until it is. So I know I've worked with some women who have been kind of coming up to retirement and didn't want to do anything publicity wise until their retirement date, and then went for it and have done that very, very successfully. But I think there has to be kind of a realism about that in the meantime, your side hustle isn't necessarily going to set the heather on fire because you're not being visible. So there can be a whole load of reasons why. But if you haven't told your employer and you haven't got a really specific reason why, I want you to go and check it out. Samantha, how timely then. Your employer is a formal process. You submitted your request today. Yeah, I mean, what's the worst that can happen? Do you know, if you don't tell your employer about it now and you're worried, I'm not talking to you, Samantha, I'm sorry, I'm just talking generally. Theoretically, if you don't tell your employer about your side hustle and you're keeping yourself small because you're worried about getting caught, you might as well tell them. And if they say no, at least you know where you are. It's really unlikely. I think it's really unlikely that, as I say, apart from the reasons that I mentioned earlier, I know some of you are joining a bit later, but as long as your side hustle is not negatively impacting your day job, and as long as there's no kind of non-compete, you're not doing something where you would be directly be taking business away from your employer or stuff that you would be doing that would be charged to your employer, as long as it's something that's complementary, as opposed to kind of directly competing with, it's pretty unlikely an employer is going to have any issues with it. And the thing is, it is our job to show employers that having a happy side hustle positively impacts your job. In fact, for those of you that are in the Hive, that is what my mindset session is on tomorrow night. It's all about that. When you spend more time in happiness, it positively flows into your day job. So having a side hustle can be a really positive thing for your employer as well as for you. Hi everybody. Hi. Tracy, you are HR, you have full backing from your MD. Brilliant, brilliant. Yeah, there's loads of people in HR in this group actually, and it'd be interesting to get your thoughts on it, because I think I can't. So I'm not saying that all employers are going to be exactly the same, but if you went to your employer and you said honestly, look, I'm pursuing this thing outside work that's not going to impact my work. In fact, it's probably going to enhance the work that I do because I'm going to spend more time in joy. I'm going to be learning additional skills that will probably be transferable to my day job in some aspect. And I just want to be upfront with you and make sure that you're okay with that. Like, it's pretty unlikely a decent employer is going to go, nope, absolutely not. You can't do it, because they know as well that how can they stop you? Like, really, how can they stop you? So, the moral of this Happy Hustle show is, do not keep yourself small by not really stepping into the ownership of your side hustle. So unless I absolutely appreciate there are some very, very specific reasons why somebody may not be able to tell their manager or their employer, but just check that it's not because you're having a go at your side hustle, as opposed to making a decision that your side hustle is going to be successful. It's going to create the vision that you've set for yourself. When you decide that, then you just need to put everything in place to make sure that there's no obstacles. Let me see, Marion. Manager knew, sorry, let me just fire this up. My manager knew about my business before I started my current role, and it's never been an issue. I've even mentioned it in some meetings during the interest, but yeah, because it makes you interesting. Like, you're learning skills, you're learning additional things that are probably in some way going to be transferable to your day job. Just even building your confidence, building your happiness. It makes you an interesting person. And you're absolutely right, Mariam. You know, when you're sitting in those meetings, and as a training consultant, I do it to people all the time. Like, so introduce yourself and tell me 2 truths and a lie. And everybody goes, oh, I hate those games. But you're always struggling to think of an interesting truth. Like, your side hustle is one of those interesting things. I'm always like using my side hustles in those situations. So, yes, take it from me. Deal with your employer and get everything to be non-negotiable. Now, the other thing that I want to say before I leave is, on a week on Friday, on the 11th of February, I am having a bee free festival. So it's the bee festival and it's free. So I can't decide whether I'm calling it bee festival and it's free, or I'm calling it bee free festival. Anyway, it is a side hustle festival. I cannot tell you how excited I am about this. So, you probably have seen, I keep asking in the community, what is it like? What's blocking you? What's getting you stuck? And what else do you need to make your side hustle successful, or to meet those goals? And I took that information and I have got in contact with some of my business friends, and we are putting on a festival that is a series of masterclasses that are going to help you to rock your side hustle, add additional income streams in to move more quickly towards your vision board, and also to have some fun. And I am kicking it off with how to write a book in a week. Look at my books. I just keep writing them. So look, I've got that one. I've got that one. And this one, which, if you very quickly noticed, that is actually a redesigned cover for one of the other ones. But within these books, they are, look how lovely this is. So this one is a happiness journal. But look how lovely that is. Now, some of you might have purchased this from me before as a PDF, but now that is an actual book. Look, there's me on the back. There's a bit about me. Here's me with my book. This is so super easy to do, to create a book like this. And there are so many ways how a book like that can help your side hustle. So have a think between now and next Friday as to what type of book. Now, the easiest type of book like this to make is just a notebook. So a book, I've made one, but I haven't ordered it for myself. So a book that just has lines inside it, but on the front has maybe a quote, your business name, something that's relevant to your side hustle. You can use it as a giveaway. You can use it as part of a subscription box. You can use it as a gift for your clients if you've got a coaching business, or you can use it, like you could create a wedding planner and you could use it as part of your wedding range. There's so many things that you can do with the book. You just decide what goes inside it. You just self-publish it. And to buy, so I've got two here I want to show you. So this one has a black and white interior, like that. I think it's got 50 pages, but you can do as many pages as you want. Proper book. This is quite glossy, so you can choose from glossy and matte. Forwarded them all because I think the matte's nicer, but it's personal preference. This book cost me £2.30, I think it was. And this book, which is full colour, and I assumed was going to be a lot more expensive, because look how lovely and colourful it is. This cost me £3.34. So imagine you could create a book or a range of books for your side hustle. You could purchase them and have them delivered to your house or to your clients for that price. Imagine how much value you could add. So, when we're talking about secret sauce, and something additional that you can give to your customers, just think about how could you use a self-published book to really add something to your side hustle. So I'm telling you this now because I'm going to show you how to do it next Friday, not this Friday, next Friday, 11th of February. But I want you to think about, well, what would you do? And if it's a lined book, that's absolutely fine. But what would you have on the front of it? What would you do with it? So within the business festival, within the Be Free Festival, I am going to be talking about how to create your own book. I say in a week, you could do it. And if it's a lined book, you could do it in probably an hour. I'll show you. Then I have got a whole load of headliners. I've got Helen Pritchard coming to talk to you about creating a £99 thing. So basically creating a £99 service, taking your knowledge, packaging it into £99 service and adding that in as an additional income stream. Helen is just incredible at that. She's going to be so brilliant. Then I've got Paula Cohen coming in to talk about how to stop faffing and just getting things done. Paula is such an expert at this. She's absolutely brilliant. Paula was, for those of you who know Helen Pritchard, Paula was Helen Pritchard's coach. So she's just absolutely brilliant at what she does. Paula's coming in at, Paula's coming in at 4. Then I've got Lorna. For those of you in the Hive, you'll remember Lorna and the Gram, Lorna Taylor, who came in to talk about Instagram Reels to us just before Christmas. She was so brilliant and everybody loved her. That she's coming back to do an Instagram beginners class to show you like all the other things to be focused on Instagram. So how to use Instagram for your side hustle, how to fall in love with it and make it one of your main channels. Lauren is going to cover that off. Then we've got the fabulous, our very own Julie Brecken, our finance bee, and Julie's going to do a side hustle accounts 101. So for anybody that is putting off success because they're feeling a bit icky about the numbers and what to record and how to deal with the tax and all of that, Julie is going to handle that for you. Later in the evening, so this is all going to start at 2 o'clock next Friday. So it's going to be an afternoon and evening festival. Later in the evenings, I'm going to be doing an additional masterclass. Haven't really decided what it's going to be on. Something mindset based. Oh, I might have decided. Can't remember. We'll do something mindset based. And then we're going to have some sort of a social event. I haven't really decided what that's going to be either. I'll decide all of that next week. What you need to know is stick the 11th of February in your diary. If you are available from 2 o'clock, stay with us through the whole day. It's going to be absolutely brilliant fun. It's going to be a festival without any need for Wellingtons, any need for being in a mud situation. It will all be available on replay though, because I know some people will be at work and you might not be about on that Friday. It will be available on replay for 2 days. So it'll be available on replay on the Saturday and the Sunday, maybe probably to the Monday, but then all the classes will come back down. For those of you in the Hive, I will move them over to the Hive. So you've got however long you can watch them like at any point. But it's going to be so much fun. So if you want to find out how to write a book, if you want to find out how to stop faffing and actually get things done, if you want to add a £99 per hour revenue stream into your business, if you want to know how to fall in love with Instagram, how to sort your side hustle accounts, Friday, the 11th of February. Put it in your diaries and I will see you then. But I will be back on Thursday before that with the 100th episode of the Happy Hustle Show. So I will think about how we're going to celebrate that. In the meantime, have a fantastic week and I will see you on Thursday. And Hive people, I will see you tomorrow because we've got our new focus, and tomorrow's focus is getting PR, getting in the press. So we've got our lunchtime masterclass and our evening session tomorrow night. See you all then. Bye.